The collapse. The emergency room of Stellar Heights Hospital blazed with fluorescent lights and controlled chaos at 3 a.m. on a Thursday morning. Dr. Nova Chen moved between trauma bays with mechanical efficiency, her honey blonde hair escaping its bun, her scrubs wrinkled from 36 hours of continuous wear, her body running on adrenaline and sheer stubbornness. Dr. Chen, incoming trauma, motorcycle versus truck, the charge nurse called. ETA 3 minutes. Nova nodded, forcing her exhausted brain to shift into emergency mode, despite the fact that she'd been awake since Tuesday morning. She was covering for 3 sick residents, her own shift plus theirs, because someone had to, and she'd never been able to say no when patients needed help. Vitals, she asked, prepping the trauma bay. Unstable, probable internal bleeding. Nova's hands moved through familiar routines, checking equipment, reviewing protocols, preparing for the worst. She was good at this job, brilliant actually, which was why the attending physicians kept asking her to cover extra shifts. But brilliance couldn't override biology indefinitely. The patient arrived in a controlled storm of paramedics and equipment. Nova assessed quickly, massive abdominal trauma, signs of hemorrhagic shock, critical but savable if they moved fast. Type and cross for 6 units, call surgery, and get me ultrasound now, Nova commanded, her voice steady even as black spots began dancing at the edges of her vision. She was performing the focused assessment when the room tilted sideways. Nova blinked hard, trying to clear her vision. The ultrasound wand felt impossibly heavy. Her patient was saying something, his blood pressure dropping, surgery was on their way, and she just needed to hold on a few more minutes. Her knees buckled. Nova felt herself falling, registered the concerned shouts of her colleagues, reached desperately for something to catch herself on. But her exhausted body had finally overridden her stubborn mind, and she was going down hard. Then strong arms caught her. She had a confused impression of someone moving impossibly fast, of being lifted with surprising gentleness, of a deep voice saying her name with concern that sounded almost personal. Dr. Chen, Nova, can you hear me? Nova's eyes fluttered open to find herself cradled against a broad chest, looking up into a face that made her oxygen-deprived brain stutter. The man holding her was striking, probably in his mid-30s, with dark hair, sharp cheekbones, and eyes that were a startling silver gray. He wore an impeccably tailored charcoal suit that seemed out of place in the emergency room chaos. Orion? She managed, recognizing him with shock. Orion Vale, the billionaire owner of Stellar Heights Hospital, the enigmatic philanthropist who'd built this facility from nothing and rarely appeared on the clinical floors. You collapsed, he said, his voice low and controlled, but edged with something that sounded like anger. How long have you been awake, Nova? I'm fine, put me down, my patient is being handled by Dr. Morrison and the trauma surgery team. You're in no condition to treat anyone. Orion's arms tightened fractionally as she tried to struggle free. When did you last eat, sleep, rest for more than 5 minutes? That's not. Nova's protest died as another wave of dizziness crashed over her. She sagged against him, hating her weakness but unable to fight it. That's what I thought. Orion made a decision, his expression hardening with determination. You're coming with me. What? No, I have patience. You have colleagues who can cover for you. What you don't have is the physical capacity to continue working without killing yourself or endangering patients. He was already moving, carrying her toward the exit emergency with purposeful strides. Nova tried to protest, but her tongue felt thick and uncooperative. She was vaguely aware of shocked stares from staff members, of Orion issuing clipped commands to someone about coverage, of being carried into an elevator that required a keycard for access. Where are you taking me? She mumbled. To a place you can actually rest without being called for consults every 10 minutes. The elevator rose smoothly. My penthouse. It's quiet, private, and has everything you need to recover properly. That's inappropriate, Nova managed. though her outrage was significantly undermined by the way she was unconsciously relaxing into his warmth. So is working 36 hours straight until you collapse in the middle of treating a critical patient. Orion's voice was stern. You can discuss appropriate boundaries after you've slept, eaten, and rehydrated. Right now, you're following medical orders. Mine. Nova wanted to argue. She should argue, but her exhausted body betrayed her, going limp in Orion's arms as consciousness began slipping away again. The last thing she registered was being carried into a space that smelled like sandalwood and night air, being laid on something impossibly soft, and Orion's voice, gentle now, saying something she couldn't quite hear. "Rest, Nova. You're safe here. I've got you." Then darkness claimed her completely, and for the first time in 36 hours, Dr. Nova Chen stopped fighting and let herself fall into desperately needed sleep. She had no idea that collapsing in the emergency room was about to change her entire life, or that the man who'd caught her was about to reveal truths that would rewrite everything she thought she knew about herself. Recovery and revelation. Nova woke slowly, her mind dragging itself from the depths of exhaustion toward consciousness. The bed beneath her was absurdly comfortable, high thread count sheets, pillows that seemed custom designed for her body, a weight of blankets that felt like a gentle embrace. This definitely was not her lumpy apartment mattress. Her eyes opened to find herself in a bedroom that belonged in an architectural magazine. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealing a breathtaking cityscape, morning sunlight streaming through glass walls, minimalist furniture in shades of gray and black, abstract art that probably cost more than her medical school debt. "You're awake." Nova jerked upright to find Orion Vale sitting in an armchair near the windows, watching her with those unsettling silver-gray eyes. He'd changed from his suit into dark slacks and a simple black shirt, sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms that suggested he did more than just run hospitals. "How long was I asleep?" Nova asked, her voice rough. 14 hours. It's Friday afternoon." Orion stood, moving toward the bed with fluid grace that seemed almost human. "You were severely exhausted and dehydrated. I had my personal physician examine you while you slept. Dr. Miranda Patel, board certified in emergency medicine. She cleared you medically but prescribed at least 48 hours of rest." "I can't afford 48 hours of rest. I have shifts." "Covered." Orion arranged for attending physicians to handle the resident's schedule for the next week. "Nova, you collapsed treating a critical patient. Do you understand how dangerous that was? Not just to you, but to your patients." Shame flooded through Nova, hot and uncomfortable. "I was handling it." "You were destroying yourself." Orion sat on the edge of the bed, close enough that she could see silver flecks in his eyes that definitely hadn't been there before. Or maybe her exhausted brain was playing tricks on her. "Why, Nova? Why push yourself to this extreme?" "Because people need help," the words came out defensively. "Because I'm good at emergency medicine. Because you're sending half your residence salary to support your sister's medical school tuition," Orion finished quietly. Nova's breath caught. "How do you know about Maya?" "I make it my business to know about my staff, especially those working themselves into an early grave. Your sister is brilliant, by the way, top of her class. But Nova, supporting her shouldn't mean sacrificing your own health and safety." "She's all the family I have left," Nova said, her voice barely above a whisper. "After our parents died, after my mother—" She stopped abruptly, that old wound still too painful to touch. Her mother had left when Nova was 5, just vanished without explanation. Then her father had died in a car accident when she was 19. "Maya deserves her chance. I can handle the extra shifts." "Except you can't. Your body literally shut down last night, forcing you to stop." Orion's hand settled on hers, where it rested on the blanket, warm and oddly comforting. "Nova, I'm going to make you an offer. Hear me out before you refuse." "I'm listening." "Become my personal physician. It's essentially a private practice position, regular hours, exceptional salary, full benefits. You'd be responsible for my healthcare and that of my executive staff. In exchange, you'd earn enough to support both yourself and Maya's education comfortably without working yourself to death. You would offer me that? You barely know me. I've been watching you for 3 months, Orion admitted, and something in his silver eyes made Nova's pulse quicken. Since you started your residency at Stellar Heights, you're brilliant, compassionate, and utterly dedicated, but you're also killing yourself and He stopped, jaw tightening. I can't watch that happen. You've been watching me for 3 months? Nova pulled her hand away, suspicious. That's creepy, Orion. It's concerned. There's a difference. He stood, pacing to the windows. Nova, there's something I need to tell you. Something that will sound impossible, but I need you to keep an open mind.
You're extraordinary. I see you too, she managed, tears slipping down her cheeks. Orion, you're not alone anymore. Neither of us is. The resonance bond snapped into place with finality, and Nova felt power explode through her system, her healing abilities no longer unconscious and uncontrolled, but directed, amplified, merged with Orion's enhanced strength and perception. She could suddenly sense the entire building, feel the hostiles approaching, perceive the bioelectric signatures of everyone present. That's it, Orion breathed. That's a full resonance bond. Nova, you're incredible. Can you feel your healing abilities now? I can feel everything. Nova opened her eyes, seeing the world differently, energy fields around every object, dimensional barriers that she could now consciously perceive, the pulsing life force of every person in the hospital. Orion, I can sense their weapons, the suppression technology. It works by disrupting bioelectric fields. But if I can manipulate bioelectric systems, you can disable the weapons, he finished, fierce satisfaction in his voice. That's my brilliant healer, ready to show MedCorp Genesis why they should never threaten you? Ready, Nova said. Downstairs, in the building's private elevator ascending toward the penthouse, 6 MedCorp Genesis operatives were about to learn that kidnapping an awakened celestial healer was a very bad idea. And the billionaire hospital owner, who'd been in love with her for months, was about to demonstrate exactly how protective he could be when someone threatened his resonance-bonded mate.